For What's Hot, we talk about stories that have all of you talking.
Mixing it up today, Brian Sikma from Media Trackers is here, and Jeff Wagner, as always, is in his little box before he leaves on vacation. All right, topic number one today. A Milwaukee firefighter claims he was unfairly fired and is trying to get his job back. Nathan Fager is one of 9 firefighters suspended during a vandalism investigation at Engine House 32. The chief later fired him and another firefighter last month because they were probationary and can be terminated at any time for any reason. 2 others got to retire with full benefits because they were veteran firefighters. Is this ultimately fair?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, this is very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but what happened that night was appalling. Now, in this particular guy's case, like you were saying, Steve, he's on probation, so he doesn't have the same protections. He says he just stood by and watched the stuff go on. That doesn't matter. Bottom line is, you know, if you're on probation or otherwise, you cannot be engaging in this sort of behavior or even watching it. Yeah, I think he has to go.
Yeah, I tend to think that Jeff has a point there. I mean, this guy is a probationary firefighter. It's an unfortunate circumstance. He may complain that the senior firefighters got different treatment, but at the end of the day, the fire chief does have the opportunity to look at this behavior, and I think this is part of why we have probationary periods, because we have to see if these different individuals are qualified to be firefighters. So it's an unfortunate situation, but it does make sense.
But you've worked closely on this story, right, Steve?
Yeah, I've been reporting this for about a month now, and this is a guy who says his only infraction was he happened to be assigned to the shift where the guys who did the things worked. If he'd been assigned to a different shift that day, he wouldn't be in this boat.
Well, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it. But at the same time, I think the question, did he do anything to stop this?
Right.
Well, I don't think anybody says he did. Look, it's a bad situation. I understand the guy's background. As far as the people who were allowed to resign, though, look, the fire chief wanted him gone, and this was just the easiest way to get him gone. Nobody covered themselves in glory that was there that night.
I wonder, though, is he trying to say that there's this kind of like fraternity culture and he didn't feel like if I stopped it, then I'd be on the outside, so I just watched and didn't do anything, and because I did that, I shouldn't be fired?
He did fill out full reports, he told me, and cooperated completely with the investigation. But apparently it's because he did not go immediately to his superiors
the timing.
when this happened is what cost him his job.
Yeah, there is yes, you're exactly right. This is a teachable moment for people, absolutely.
All right, coming up, a parent is upset about a 91-0 football score. Is that bullying, though? We'll talk about it. Now back to What's Hot and our viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we're joined by Brian Sikma and Jeff Wagner from 620 WTMJ. Well, the family of a murdered Ohio soldier is fighting to have 2 towering SpongeBob SquarePants headstones returned to her final resting place. The headstones were approved and installed, but were taken down because they didn't fit within the cemetery's guidelines. So the question today is, should they be able to keep these headstones? And I should mention, these headstones cost them about $26,000.
Yeah, they're each 7 feet tall.
Yes. One for the dead soldier and the other for her twin.
It's a little unorthodox, but
yeah, little.
Yeah, a little, largely unorthodox. You look at the size of these things. I mean, it's not within my taste, but you look at the news reports. The cemetery apparently did know that they were going to install these things, and somebody signed off on it. Now, I understand that there may be buyer's remorse or permission remorse, and I have to say, though, I mean, once they gave that permission to the family, you can see why the family would be upset if they were suddenly told you have to take these things down. Now, I think they should have been in the first place, but once that cemetery did give permission, the family did seek permission. It seemed like the family did all the right things in this situation.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brian. I mean, look, I understand why it's a cemetery. It's not an amusement park, and that's why they've got the guidelines that would normally prohibit this. They went to the people beforehand, though. They showed them what they wanted to do. They apparently bought 6 plots, so they had more room to do it. They erected these things. It cost $26,000, I think, to put these 2 things up there. And now the cemetery says, well, we'll pay you back, but that doesn't matter. They approved it, and having approved it, I don't think they can go back and say, sorry, we're going to have a mulligan on this.
Okay, what do you do then to the person at the cemetery who gave this the thumbs up?
Yeah, well,
give them a
maybe they
pink
should
slip,
do a
maybe?
job.
Yeah, that's another matter, right? Because, I mean, and I can also understand perhaps why some of the other people around there think that this might be a bit disrespectful to, their relatives who are buried, but still, the cemetery said yes. Maybe they will be looking for a new approver in the future.
All right, lightning round time now. There was a high school football game in Texas. The competition blew out the underdog.
Blew out? You sure that's what you want to call it?
91-0, annihilated. One parent took the defeat hard, accusing the coaching staff of bullying. He suggested the coaches should have told players to take it easy on the other team once the score was like 60-something to nothing.
What, they should have just sat down on the bench and just let the clock run out?
Well, it was almost 60-0 at halftime.
But okay, Wagner's rule of life number one: life is tough. Get a helmet. I mean, here's the deal. The coach of the winning team started substituting in the middle of the first quarter. In the second half, they ran the clock continuously. Look, if you've got an issue with this, I mean, you just put in a mercy rule. I mean, you say, okay, once it gets 50-0, we're going to end the game. But the idea that you should have the kids on the winning team go out and just kneel down, I think that's even more insulting to the losing team than having them go out and at least try.
It's almost just like getting a ribbon for showing up.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, this is something that nobody likes to lose by that much at all, but I think it's a sore loser parent. And I think the coach, actually, of the winning team said he's going to try to get his team placed in a tougher league, a tougher division next year, because he wants to make sure this doesn't happen again in the future, but the parent needs to get over it.
Do you think Vikings fans will be having a similar conversation Monday morning?
I hope so.
We can only hope. We can only hope. Sunday night. You bet.
All right.
Today's TMJ4.
Thank you both. The What's Hot discussion continues online. You can find that page at tmj4.com/hot.
And